Hello. Hi, everyone. My name is Allison. I'm a figurative artist. And I know what you're thinking. You're going to teach me how to make paper? Yes, I am going to teach you how to make paper. I made paper forever ago in Oregon. My partner and I, we like to go out there during the summers to farm, but I'm not much of a farmer. So I've painted 2 murals there. And then I also made paper out of a bunch of like recycled paper that I found, and wanted to do a little art project. So it's always like my little art retreat that I go on. But I need to make another batch of paper because I love practicing sustainability in my art practice. So follow along with me because we're gonna make some paper today and it's gonna be fun. My friend Camille is coming, so we're gonna make paper together. It's gonna be a good time. First step. I've been collecting scraps. I've got my giant bin of fun colored paper. I'm hoping I won't have to use any dyes or acrylic paint or anything because I have a lot of colors, so I'm gonna try to group all of them together, reds and pinks together in one, and put some blues and greens in others, so I can naturally make colored paper without having to use any dyes. So that's where I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start sorting things before Camille gets here, and then we're gonna use blenders. I'm gonna test 2 blenders out today. My friend Miles, thanks Miles, gave me his blender, and then we also got an emulsifier from a garage sale. You're gonna need a blender. Oh my god. And we're also gonna try the emulsifier too. It's small, so I don't really think it's gonna work out amazing, but for the sake of 2 of us making a paper today, I think this might come in handy. So we'll see how this works too. Maybe we can even get like a bigger bowl and then use the emulsifier that way, and I think that would be pretty good. So we'll see. When I was in Oregon, I foraged some flowers and I dried them out and I put them in here. I didn't pick out any flowers this time, even though the wildflowers have been blooming like crazy in Texas, but I'm just gonna stick to making regular paper. What's really fun is that I put a bunch of regular flowers in there. Some of them didn't turn out like super good. Just kind of look like seaweed, to be honest, but they're just so cute. This is another one of my favorites. I love this one. I want to make more business cards, and so I want to use this paper that I make to start making these because I think it's really fun and really cute. I already tried making business cards with this paper in this style. This sticker right here, it wouldn't stick to my paper because it's too textured. So I'm thinking if I do it just with the stamps, then it should be completely fine and it should be cute. It's gonna be good. Any questions before we start? Any questions before? She's meowing. She has so many questions. She's like, what the fuck are we doing? I also have a giant drawer full of recycled paper too. So I'm gonna have to soak a lot of this and use it. Let's open this up. More paper and things. I'm getting ready before Camille comes. We bonded over our love for crafts and sustainability. So I'm excited that we're gonna make paper together. I'm sorting the paper into warm and cool colors. I want to stay away from dyes or paint and just mix the colors together from these piles and just see how it goes. Maybe it'll work like color theory. Like if I mix red and blue, will I actually get purple? Finally, oh my gosh, my assistant showed up. Where you been, girl? I kind of feel like making a white pile of just like whitish paper, I guess. I don't really know if this is gonna blend, but we'll see. And this, maybe that'll blend. Maybe I could just put that in there. This is my very questionable pile and bin, and I don't even know what's in here. A lot of mail and tissue paper, all that kind of stuff. So we'll have to go through it and organize it. There's so much random paper, mail, wrapping paper, streamers, and I even saved like gross menu paper at the restaurant I worked at. I worked at a vegan restaurant with very bad sustainability practices, so it would hurt to watch them throw away so much paper, so I saved it. Overall, I'm just looking to remove any plastic and waxy paper from this pile. So I decided to go for a white paper pile, kind of like blue-green, and I'm thinking that will turn out red. I think maybe pink if we're lucky, but I have all of them, and I'm actually going to take them to go fill them with water at the sink. We also have, I heard you can use dryer lint too, so maybe I'll check to see if we have any dryer lint. Yay! Okay, cool. Maybe, I think it makes like the fabric thicker, but I don't really know. So I'll put some dryer lint in there. Cool. Now we're gonna put it back in here. Work it, sister. I'm lucky to be doing this at my art studio that I'm a member of. We have so many amazing facilities here, including this big ass industrial sink. I was thinking about putting the bin inside of the sink, but it definitely wouldn't fit. And when I started pouring the water into the buckets, like I was using a container to pour water into the container, it just like got all over the floor. So if anyone asks, I mopped, okay? I mopped, all right? The water was already changing colors. It's a little swampy, but that's okay. I'm mentally preparing for my hands to be wet for like another 8 hours. We're doing this in an empty studio, so we don't have to navigate around furniture or get any other obstructions wet. And Camille is here too with their paper.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi too.
This is my camera, my video.
Oh, hello. Table, tiny legs.
In the morning I have breakfast. In the afternoon I have lunch. Big table, tiny legs. With like, I don't know, are you eating a baby?
I don't know what's there. I'm like a little kid.
And then in the evening I read with my orange light.
With my orange light. Yes.
It's gorgeous.
Yes. Again, very tiny big bed.
The blenders are ready, and I got some screens from Dollar Tree. I also saw them at IKEA, but they were like $5 instead of $1. A deal is a deal. Cool beans. Blender, emulsifier, dirty ass water check. I guess we're going with blue first. This is Camille's first time making paper, and this is my first time making it inside. So we're in this together. We were both supposed to soak our paper at least 24 hours before blending, but we didn't. So crossing our fingers that the machines will blend up the paper. The brand and the style of the blender is like a base level blender from Walmart, I think. It did the thing. It's not frozen fruit, so it's just paper. It's kind of hard to gauge what color is going to come out because I can't tell how strong the pigments are, like in each piece of paper that we collected, let alone does that change the color after it's been soaked. No idea. I had to run my fingers through it to kind of pick out the hard pieces, but the pulp turned out pretty good. I'm on blender duty and Camille is mixing it up with the emulsifier to integrate the batches together so we can have a more evenly colored batch and break up some of the rough chunks that the blender missed. Ew.
It's escaped.
That's so gross.
Can I do it? I can't. Floor soup.
It's disgusting.
I love it.
Floor soup.
Floor soup. Floor paper. Okay.
Delicious.
Yes.
It's such a beautiful color, even after we scooped it off the floor. This pulp is thick and chunky. It definitely needed a lot more water. It's so much paper. I feel like that's way too thick. Look how thick that
It feels like making a crepe.
So fucking thick.
Okay.
See, it's like really thick and heavy. We're using both screens to juice out as much water as we can before we flip it onto these thin tablecloths we put down for our paper to dry on.
Where are we putting it?
Right here. Frying
Are you
pan,
ready?
frying pan, flip that bitch.
Wait, can I transfer it onto the other one?
No, you have
Okay.
to commit. All right, now we gotta take a sponge.
Okay.
Fuck, we're so unprepared.
Give me.
Hold on. Now you take a sponge and you'll just like loosen it up a little, yeah. Beautiful.
Oh.
Yeah, don't touch it. Oh my god.
Okay. I'm sorry.
You ruined it.
I did. I fucked it up. Let's see if I can gently repair it. Oh, yay! Let's see. Are there more of these or no?
No, but we can cut it down. And that's what we did. We cut them down because it would have been a two-man job to load and flip that heavy screen. It was also just hard to gauge how thick the layer was because it's just a little too big. And we just cut them with regular scissors, and now we can just both zone out and flip these patties. If you decide to make paper, I'd recommend making a watery batch. This is just a little too thick, and oddly, the thicker the paper, the more likely it'll rip and break, because it's not as flexible, and the fibers don't really hold that well together if there's too much paper. I don't know how that works, but there's just trust me, okay? When you flip it onto the linen, you want to make sure to press out more of the water. You can do it with the sponge and remove it, especially if you don't want to get your floor too wet, or just press it out with your hands onto the fabric and remove the screen and leave it alone. Leave it alone. After many hours of flip and flip, we got so many beautiful colors, blues and greens. Oh, and did I mention my blender exploded? It just started smoking. And I think I got too much water in the electronics and it died. It was such a beautiful smoke, though horrible smell. Rip to my blender. I'm so sorry, Miles. Camille took over mixing up all the colors because I couldn't be trusted. And we were finally onto the warm colors. This looks like hamburger meat. It's giving Krabby Patty. Or like the Chum Bucket. This plastic bin that I'm using is a lid from Great American Cookies. You know, the classic mall cookies. We got some cookies donated for our Secret Garden event at the beginning of the month. The cookies were garden themed too, which was extra cute. And I cleaned the icing off the lids and reused them for this project. The worst part is, I didn't even get to eat any of them because I was stuck in my studio the whole time, talking to people, selling work. It was an awesome night, but I could really use a cookie right now. I also put dryer lint in this one.
What?
Yeah, I did. Because I saw that if you put dryer lint, you can also put dryer lint in it, and I feel like it makes it, like, the fibers bind a little bit better.
That's so... I believe you, and also dryer lint has so much crazy shit in it.
Oh, really?
I'm like, no.
Oh no. I should have never said anything.
I'm pretty pretty sure it has like fiberglass and shit.
Dryer lint?
Yeah. Maybe I'm lying. I don't know. I need to fact check myself.
I feel like whatever's in this paper is not good anyway.
That's true. There's already shit in here.
There's already a ton of plastic and shit. The wax and stuff.
What's a little dryer lint?
What's a little fucking dryer lint? Okay, maybe don't use dryer lint. Girl, I don't know. Don't make me say it, but I learned how to make paper off of an Instagram reel. You know, the suburban mom's making paper, and she put dryer lint in hers, so if the trad mom did it, she knows what's good for us, right? And Camille. Camille knows what's best. Thank you, Camille, for making paper with me. I had a blast, and I miss you already. Okay. It's the next day. Let's check on the paper and see how it turned out. They look pretty dry. Wow. Yeah, I'm happy that they got a little bit lighter too. I was a little bit worried, but yeah, you can kind of see, I feel like this one's still kind of wet, but this one looks a little bit drier. Oh, no. I feel like these are still wet. You can kind of see. So they've been drying for maybe like 6 hours now. But I feel like because these ones were closer to the fan, that these ones seem pretty dry. Let's check it out. Yeah, wow. Yeah, one thing I noticed while they were drying is that this fabric has been leaching on to the paper a little. Like you can see here too. Like with this one. The fabric, I don't really know. So maybe I needed to wash this before, because I got it as like a tablecloth because it would be pretty thin, but I didn't really realize that the fabric color would leach onto it. So that's kind of interesting. But I feel like a few more hours for these ones, and then they should be good for me to lift up. But like, I feel like this is kind of dry. Oh, it's a little bit dry. It doesn't really look like hamburger meat anymore. Thank God. But I don't think the purple leached onto this one, which I like this color. I think it's really, really pretty. It's like a pair of boobs. That's so funny. Just overnight, at least half of them dried. I didn't want the fans to be too close because I was worried they were gonna fly away, but I should have brought one a little closer to the purple sheets, so we're just gonna have to wait a few more hours. I'm thinking by the end of the day they'll be dry enough to pick them up before we open our gallery space for the weekend. It's so easy just to peel these right off. Now that the water is gone, I used a large floor fan and a flood fan, but luckily we have tiled and concrete floors, so the floor is very durable, especially for messy work like this. We have a ton of shared space, but because the fans are so loud, I wanted to do it in an extra studio, have it dry overnight, you know, with the blasting the fan, so it wouldn't really bother any of my studio mates during like most of our working hours. I'm all up in that studio, girl. I'm using every corner of this space to my advantage. It's so much easier to get things done faster because I'm not worried about my living space and art mess clashing at the same time. Like, it's really nice that they're separate now. I'm resetting the fans to dry the other half. Art is messy. It always is. Make sure you have the right systems in place to make the work efficiently and clean up easily. That itself takes a lot of practice. Of course, you don't have to make as much paper as I am, but it's important to recognize how you work and position yourself in the right environments to do a good job and be encouraged to do it again, because the process of making it and cleaning it up was fun and easy. Okay, here are my final thoughts, my pro tips, my do's and don'ts, I think. I've used a towel and I've also used linen, and it's always recommended that you use linen because it's so fine. When you use a towel, you get this very rough texture on it in comparison to something nice and flat, so never use a towel. Even though it absorbs a lot of water, I feel like it takes a little bit longer to dry anyways, inside or outside, but always try to use something flat so that your paper will be flat. One thing I noticed, of course, blender died. My blender died, so I also had to use the emulsifier to blend. So with this batch of paper compared to the last batch that I made, I got a lot more variation and chunks because my blenders weren't like the best, to be honest. I think I would prefer doing it outside. I don't know, it's really messy. And like if you have a hose, I feel like that's so much easier to fill up the buckets than trying to use a sink, let alone if you have a kitchen sink. I think it would get really, really messy. Your floor is gonna be wet for a while. So I don't recommend doing it on wood floor at all. But outside, the thing is, if you do it, I did it on a wood deck, and the wood deck was so dirty because it's just outside, that whenever, kind of like how I had the problem, my paper soaking up the fabric paint or the color in the fabric, I don't really know. I had the same problem on the porch where the wood, it would soak up the dirt and my paper would end up getting like dirt spots. So recommend a clean non-wood floor, preferably concrete, that you clean off before, and then make sure that you have a nice thin piece of linen that's not colored, I would say, just to make sure, and not a towel, no towel. I don't know what else I have to say. I think it's a really easy process that anybody can do. Whether you have a blender, an emulsifier, I would also recommend shredding your paper or soaking your paper at least 24 hours before you use it. I tried streamers. The streamers, don't use. It got really stringy, and I thought because it was like super lightweight and very like, has a nice really dense colors, that it would blend so easily. But for some reason, whenever they got wet, they got really, really stringy, and it ended up being like a ball of yarn around all of the paper that I was trying to pick out and blend. And it was honestly a pain in the motherfucking butt. So I wouldn't recommend streamers. Any waxy paper, I feel like there's a difference between having a sheet of paper that's like, has this nice like satin / waxy feel versus like something completely being made out of like plastic, you know. It didn't really blend that well. The what is it called? I tried blending this. It did not. It did not soak, let alone blend. But this paper, it did blend, and it actually turned out super nice. I feel like because of this paper, I was able to get such like nice vivid greens, even though it doesn't look super vivid. But like you can see, like that's a streamer. These big chunks that I had were the streamers. But this nice light green, I feel like it was able to lighten the color a little bit more. So use your discretion. I feel like anything waxy, kind of like this, it doesn't work out. But something waxy like this, where it's like a little bit of wax, where it kind of feels a little bit more flexible. It's glossy, but it's not visually like iridescent and has all this. This doesn't work, but this works. I don't know. I tried it out. But streamers, party streamers is a no. Really thick mail, like really thick wax paper that you get in the mail. This is not gonna work. Newspaper is amazing. I would try to remove all the plastic that you can from all of your mail because the plastic is not gonna blend. One thing too is we tried making the big one once, but it just is so uneven. Like there's a hole in it, like right here. There's a hole in it, and it was just really hard to get it even, and it was so hard to lift and like flip. Something this size I really feel like is a two-man job, unless you have like a nice thick like window screen that you can really flip. But it's hard. I feel like as you flip it, it's like sliding down no matter how much water you try to get out of it. This is a two-man job. But something this size or even like a little bit bigger, like something that would be like this size, I feel would be a lot easier to manage on your own. Unless you're like, you know, muscle mommy and you can fucking, you know, pancake it so fast. But I couldn't. It was just so hard to balance. So we only made one. It's not my favorite. It's really uneven. It also soaked up so much of the fabric that it was a pain. That it just like doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. So not a big fan of this, but big fan of this. Big fan of this. But the only thing is, it's like the more of these, like this is less time, more effort, a little. But I feel like you get more out of it per flip versus like having to do this 500 times. You would probably only have to do this like 20 times and get the same amount. So it's really the effort you want to put into I like mindless work. I like having a task to do all day, and I'm just gonna obsess over this and like never stop until I like physically can't anymore. And the only effort that I have is to drive home. Like that's I push myself into the limit is really what I'm doing. So be crazy like me, and then maybe you can make 500 of these in just a few hours. Or, you know, be sensible and do this instead. Any other thoughts? I'm sad that my blender fucking exploded. I'm so sad. I only made 4 colors at that point, and I still had so many other colors I needed to make, and I still want to make more. I still have a lot of leftover paper that I'm gonna make, but I'm excited to convert these into these stars. I feel like they would be so cute, and I'm gonna put these on the back of my prints. Every print that you get, ooh. I wanted to switch them out. I have these ones that I also make out of recycled paper too. They're pretty much all the offcuts from my prints when I cut them down. I try to print them in a way so I can have really large offcuts. So I'll center it a certain way on the printer. So I'll have a large offcut so I can use them and put them in the back of my prints. But because I took so much effort to make these, I'm feeling like I should put these ones in the back of here instead and then have these for free on my table. So at least it's like an extra little gift, an extra little thank you to have something handmade on the back of your print, and like, you know, maybe you'll cherish it, I don't know. But maybe you'll like fucking put it on your fridge and have it on there forever. I have no idea. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't know. Eventually, I think I want to do some really nice paper packs, or even try to bind this somehow to make like a nice little journal. And then I'm going to start packing. I printed so many of my prints because I have some markets coming up. So I really want to get these packaged and have the nice little star in there. And I'm happy that I made paper. I feel like it's going to be like my once a year thing. I really am conscious about the amount of paper that I consume. Oh my God, what was I saying? 3 buckets of it was about a year. So I feel like this would be a fun thing for me to do every year. But anyways, eventually I want to make some more things out of it. I want to start making paper mache sculptures and learn how to make paper clay. So this is just the beginning of my paper journey. Great, amazing. So just more things that I am doing on top of this, on top of that, and on top of fucking doing this. This is so much, but that's the fun of it. So I'm hoping by the end of the day, my fans will put in work and dry the rest of it, and I can start cutting stars next week. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something, I guess. I don't really know. I hope you had fun with me and that we can keep doing this. So I make a lot of things. I make a lot of different things. So check out my page. If you're literally here just to watch me make paper, this is the kind of art that I do. So if you kind of like this, if you like this, and you like this, then consider following me on my journey of being a small artist here in Texas, Austin, Texas. Yeehaw.